Are you recording that? So I'm turning 39 this year, and I want to look back at everything I've done and everything I want to do before I turn 40. My name is Jason, I'm a filmmaker, I'm a husband and a father of 4, and I'm cleaning up the pre-40 bucket list. Bam! Is that good? A little while ago, I went back to Pointe-Claire Plaza, specifically to Blue Nose, to complete my 30-year-old card collection. Bam! What's happened since then is I've developed a very minor obsession about discovering everything I can about this mall. In my mind, this mall is a place that's always existed. It's always been there, like the Parthenon or the pyramids. In Pointe-Claire, it's the plaza. So if you've lived in the West Island, chances are you've had some interaction with this mall. I, for example, learned how to play piano at Centre Musical du Québec. Still kind of got it. So now we find me back at the library, fishing through an old West Island newspaper called the Lakeshore News. And in the mix of all those ancient advertisements, I started to see articles about Pointe-Claire's upcoming and first ever shopping center. It was given the motto, the shopping center that has everything. Once the mall was complete, the residents couldn't wait. They rushed the mall. They came in droves. Fathers put their families in the car. They drove down. People ran down to the shops, all to see this brand new phenomenon called the Pointe-Claire Plaza. Pointe-Claire's very own shopping mall. It was a brand new concept. The only other one that existed was in Dorval, and that was a hike away. So it wasn't the second oldest mall in Canada, but it was the second oldest mall in the West Island. And now the Pointe-Claire little baby boomers had a place to go hang out. So let's all go back to Thursday, October 16th, 1958. That's when it all started, at 9:30 p.m. After the ribbon cutting ceremony, they had a 40-minute long firework display for the opening of a shopping mall. The place was surrounded by trees, 40 minutes. And it didn't stop there. Mr. TV himself, Jimmy Tapp, showed up to MC the whole event. And, fun fact, he was also the voice of Hercules. Remember Hercules, the cartoon? Hercules, Hercules. And it wasn't a one-night affair. I mean, we're talking about the plaza here. It carried on to the next day, Friday, October 17th, 1958. There was a draw for a 4-door Ford Prefect deluxe car. And who did the draw? None other than Mr. Boom Boom himself. Boom Boom Jeffrey from the Montreal Canadiens. Can you believe that? They got the Boom Boom to draw for the Vroom Vroom. And you'd think it stopped with 2 days? No, October 18th, 1958. They had all these festivities for the little baby boomers. They had pony rides, Pepsi Cola, candy floss, birthday cakes, balloons, and they had a hula hoop competition where you could win a brand new bike. That's amazing. Can you get more 1950s than winning a bike from a hula hoop competition? Can I just remind you that we're talking about the Pointe-Claire Plaza here? This is insane. This is not the mall that I grew up in. So with all that being said, you know what surprised me the most? At the bottom of the opening day flyer, the 23 original stores were there. And guess what store was there? Ted's Hobby Shop. Still there now. But in 1958, it was called Ted's Records and Hobbies. That's right, they sold records too. How crazy is that? The evolution of Ted's Hobby Shop. You know, I'd like to think that I was a part of that evolution. I think that every kid in the West Island was a part of that evolution. Growing up in the 1980s, Ted's was all about models. So my mini challenge for this video is to go back to Ted's and find the most difficult model I can find and build one for the first time in 30 years. This looks scary. Skill level 2. Let's find a 1. Or ages 15 and up. Well, that's too high for me. So I didn't go for the most difficult model, but still, after 30 years, everything's gonna be kind of difficult anyways. Pete, the current owner of the store, let me set up a little station in the back so I can concentrate and build that beast of a model. Look at the instructions. Oh, that's not so, oh my God. In the late 80s, at Christmas, for sure I got a model under the tree.
Is it a model?
This is gonna be a disaster.
It's a model, let it run! Oh!
A car or a plane, just like this. Maybe a little bit more complex than this. 2 steps away from the halfway mark. Before PCs and video games got really popular, bam, bam, models was where it was at.
Oh yeah, 2 models, lightsaber.
Confidence is a killer. Ted's Hobby Shop.
What is this? What am I doing?
Ted's was where you got the models.
Ted's Hobby Shop, Lamborghini.
Ted used to have a whole wall full of models.
This is the interior of the store. The fire department said we had to take down our shelves though.
So what did you do with the models? I mean, for the most part, you would display them on your shelf, but for other types of models, like RC cars, you would race them.
It is the Falcon.
In 1988, at Kevin's 13th birthday, he got the Tamiya Falcon 2WD 110 buggy. This thing didn't just sit there, it raced and it went fast.
Back in the day, we sold a ton of Tamiya kits and get to build them.
And that's what brought us out to the races.
Everybody was racing RC cars. That was the thing to do.
In the late 80s and early 90s, if you ever drove into the shop's parking lot, you would have noticed off to the right that there was a massive mound of dirt with a platform. That's where Ted's Hobby Shop used to host their infamous RC car races.
The races were always on Saturdays, so we'd publish a schedule at the beginning of the season, and these guys would keep coming back, and they'd race with us throughout the summer.
There used to be tons of people, it happened every weekend, and the race would last all day. It was incredible.
These guys are coming out here, they're having fun, but no, these guys took it dead serious. Like serious.
I got the guy in there. I got the wheels are okay.
Did you have fun?
Oh, I said like 2 or 3 times over again how much fun I had.
So the model was done, about 95% complete, and I don't have to worry about that for another 30 years. Bam. So now we're gonna go back to the mall for a second. Remember when they built the mall in 1958? Before they built it, there was something already there, and that was Steinberg's. You remember Steinberg's? You excited we're gonna talk about Steinberg's now? If you go up to anybody, 35 and up, and just say something like, I remember buying bananas at Steinberg's, and just watch their face light up. Steinberg's? 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 There's something about Steinberg's. You see, before the West Island was laced with Metros and Maxis and Provigos, there was Steinberg's and Dominion. The original supermarket shopping experience. And by 1957, when Steinberg's opened up in that location, the company had already been around for 40 years. And the residents of Pointe-Claire couldn't have been more excited. I mean, look at these advertisements. 10 wide, spacious aisles, pleasant music by which to shop, over 5,000 quality products, over 300 different top quality meats. Can you see why they were excited now? Can you see it? Steinberg's. But I mean, this was just the grocery store. Let's go back to the plaza. There was still one thing I couldn't figure out. You see, when I was back at the library, I saw a picture of John Rennie kids crossing the train tracks. And behind them, you saw Steinberg's, like the plaza, the shops. I thought the John Rennie kids went to the shops at lunch. Where were they going? There must have been something on the other side of the tracks that was more attractive than the shops. How am I gonna figure this out? How do I find out where students went 60 years ago for lunch?
The library?
And we went to the library. We went to the Pointe-Claire library, didn't have anything.
The John Rennie Library.
I'm not gonna go back to John Rennie's library.